Welcome to Deep Dive. I'm Kevin Benedict, and I want to welcome my guest today, Vikas Sharan. Vikas and I work together. He's my boss. He's the founder here of Regalix and one of the premier industry experts around marketing. And you've been doing this for a while.
I have.
You started his first digital agency back in the 1980s. You're getting old, Vikas.
Kevin, I could say the same for you.
You certainly could. But one of the values of getting old is there's a lot of experience, and you've seen a lot, and you've seen what works and what doesn't. So let's talk about one of those problems that actually is a historic problem. It's been there for a long time, but there's new kinds of solutions out there. The problem we're going to address today is really when a giant company has a big channel or sales channel, a network of resellers. They oftentimes have great marketing capabilities internally at the large company level, but it starts breaking down very fast when you go out to 5,000 resellers. They don't have the same capabilities you have. And if they're the ones that are primarily pushing your products and they don't have a lot of marketing capabilities, the strategy has a problem there. And the problem's persisted for a long time. But today, Vikas, what are some of the kind of new ways those problems can be addressed?
Let's understand the heart of what channels, what's at the heart of channel marketing or channel sales, as a matter of fact. In one of my previous interviews with you, Kevin, I had spoken a little bit about the field sales era, which I call the first innings, where manufacturing companies employed lots of field sales reps that come door to door and shook hands and built strong relationships with
carried donuts, bought lunches.
Absolutely, and they could do a show and tell of very cool products, and that's how you build sales organizations. Now, if you built a strong relationship with a business, you could sell to them not only one product, but many related products from different companies. And that was the heart of creation of channel sales organizations. Companies became good at just selling or building a very large network of sales people that had deep relationships with business owners across the world.
And I'm thinking though that would work best when the products were fairly simple.
That is correct. Whether it was simple or in some cases very complex. For example, if you are in the business of buying a furnace, because your business required that, it's probably not a very simple product. It's a very complex product, or transformers, as a matter of fact. It's a very complex product, and a lot relies on the experience and of the person who's walking in and communicating the benefits and pros and cons of one product versus the other product.
So if I'm building a furnace, I'm really hoping my resellers know what they're talking about.
That is correct. Or other experts, industry experts that are making recommendations on different products, what they're talking about. So you're leveraging collective wisdom. But at the heart of channels was really the ability to build a large distributed team that could walk the corridors or door to door and shake hands, build stronger trusted relationships. And that is how new emerging products could be launched. And if the products were inherently good, these sales folks carried it with them along with other products. They made these house visits and sold the products. So that's when channel sales really started. Now, what happens is the relationship or the conversations that each salesperson has with the customer stays between the salesperson and the customer. Now, the brands don't have feedback built into this process to understand what were the real value propositions that customers chose to buy their product and not somebody else's product. And this is very valuable. And although brands to some extent did a lot of research and other tools at their disposal to build that context. But they had no ability to go back and market to people who had bought these products from them, so that when they had to buy the next version of the product or a new product that was much superior to the one that they bought earlier, they could reach out and educate them.
There were several degrees of separation.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And a lot of brands try to work with their channel partners and ask them to share those relationships with them, so that they could personalize a lot of their messages and market to these companies on the channel's behalf. But channels always saw this as a conflict of interest, where my relationships are my relationships. I will market to them. Give me your best brochures and I'll carry it along with me.
Right.
But I'm not going to give you my relationship.
Because they fear they would be disintermediated from the sales process.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because their entire business is really on that relationship alone.
So then there's a built-in conflict into that whole system.
Absolutely.
The manufacturer needs more information to make sure the products are tuned and fine-tuned and developed in R&D to meet the requirements of the market out there, yet the reseller channel does not really want to reveal all that information.
Absolutely.
So what's the solution?
So a lot of companies have tried many things along the way. They have invested in big marketing infrastructure to support what they thought would be best for channel partners, except channel partners didn't want to share the data.
Okay.
In the current innings that we are seeing, marketers are appreciating the channel conflict and understanding the channel conflict, and they're building infrastructure so that channel partners don't necessarily need to share data back with the brands, but could just leverage the infrastructure to market in a very sophisticated, targeted way to their customers directly.
So individual resellers may not have the funding or the skills to be able to build all this infrastructure for fine-tuning, personalizing, and doing contextually relevant marketing, but it's in the best interest of the manufacturer. So what you're suggesting is manufacturers should create those kind of environments, infrastructures, platforms, make those available to their resellers so the resellers can take advantage and do that themselves.
That is correct.
So they can get very good at creating personalized marketing for their customers without necessarily revealing all that information back to the manufacturer.
That is very true.
Okay.
And it is not that you're trying to teach the channels to become sophisticated marketers. You are actually providing a service to the marketers to leverage that would make them sophisticated. Because the core of what channel is really their ability to sell and have those strong relationships across the globe. And you still want to leverage that one-on-one relationships that they have built over the years with their customers. But at the same time, you want to make them very highly successful without the need of training them on the sophistication of marketing. You just need to give them tools so that almost as a one-click model, whether it's just a tool or a service, that they can get very sophisticated, like very large brands are today in their efforts to court and nurture their one-on-one relationships with their customers.
So it's fascinating. So you have this evolutionary process of the channels and the manufacturers, but you also have products talking directly to manufacturers now with embedded sensors and with connected products of all different kinds. There's a direct communication between manufacturers often and the products themselves. So you know how many hours of operation, the behaviors of the users, all of that. Even if the customers register the products and the products can communicate their usage and behaviors, then you already have that connection. So everybody's winning here. The resellers are able to market, make more money, have more sophisticated kinds of marketing campaigns. You have products talking to manufacturers. The manufacturers are happy. They're getting that flow of information. If a manufacturer in the middle in a centralized environment can create these tools that help resellers be more successful than their competition, that's a win-win-win. situation, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And you're touching on a very, very important topic, Kevin, where the entire movement of customer success, which is much talked about today, is at the heart of this. Brands or manufacturers are especially with connected devices and software as a service models, they have a lot more data of the usage of the end product. The sales relationships is with the channels. Now, what they need is to make sure that the customers are successful in using their products to create what business outcomes was the intent of buying those products for the customers, and you have to do that in a way that allows channel partners to still retain and maintain the direct relationship with customers, the sales relationship with the customers, but the success relationship with the customers becomes a shared responsibility between brands, and this is another whole set of learning that the industry is going through very rapidly, and best practices are being created and refined and defined. This is transformative to how channels will work with brands going forward.
Thank you so much, Vikas, for sharing your knowledge and experience and wisdom with all of us today. And customer experience, customer success, that's all going to be another topic for another episode here of Deep Dive. I want to thank all of you for joining us today.
Thank you.